Race 9 at Thistledown Saturday afternoon, the Grade 3 Ohio Derby for 3-year-olds, mile and an eighth on the main track, the only track at Thistledown. We'll take a look at this race using the new Classic PPs over on DRF.com. A lot of functionality, a lot of nice, neat features that some of you are unfamiliar with. We'll take a look at some of those and go through this field. We'll take them in post-position order. Before we do that, though, we'll scroll down here, and you'll note that I have the number 4 Global Campaign. I have him listed as toss. It's not because I'm tossing him, it's because he's not going to run. He is scratched from this race, or he's going to scratch. He continues to have foot problems. It's unfortunate because he would have vied for favoritism with Owendale. He goes away. Hopefully we see him sooner than later, but he just keeps having these nagging foot problems. Unfortunately, won't be going in the Ohio Derby. So, scratch him. You're down to a field of 6 here, going 9 furlongs. Again, we'll take him right in post-position order. The one Math Wizard for Saffie Joseph. This is a nice little horse right here, the 3-year-old son of Algorithms. Blinkers come off for the first time in his career. The Wood Memorial, not a bad effort at 65-1. Really never had a chance in there. Had a hot pace to run at. Didn't work out, one reason or another. Oaklawn Invitational, the first running of that race, relatively close to the pace, closer than he had been against better horses. Again, didn't run poorly, but he didn't run well enough for me to look at him and say he's a legitimate threat in this race, especially when you consider who's breaking just to his outside, the number 2 Owendale for Brad Cox. You're looking at the lifetime PPs right now. If you only want to look at the last 6 races, you click that. Boom, you only get 6 races. You want to take a look at all of his workouts throughout his career. Click that tab, opens everything up. So you have a number of different ways that you can look at these horses here with the new Classic PPs. I like to see all the races and all the workouts because I'm a little bit of a weirdo like that. But hey, look, everybody's got their own thing. Second start off the bench, he runs in the Grade 1 Preakness, gets a hot pace to run at, comes with a big finish on the outside. Say what you will, maybe inside is where you wanted to be. I know some people really have harped on that at Pimlico Preakness Day. I don't really firmly believe that. I think it's always advantageous to be inside, but I don't think that's what cost him the race. Thought he came with his bid on the outside, and he just couldn't quite get there and run down a horse in a war of will. This is a nice horse. He really has proven me wrong because I was very skeptical after this N1X race down at the fairgrounds. Just because the race kind of felt like it came out of nowhere. Then he shows up in the Risen Star, and he's just absolutely nowhere. The Lexington was a big effort from him, no question about it. A mile and a 16th, maybe that helped his cause, but he never looked like a loser out in the clear, albeit against inferior foes. He's going to be facing, I would say, a comparable group to the Lexington. The difference is going to be a much shorter field. And now with the defection of Global Campaign, really feels like there's only one horse that he needs to beat. And that's Long Range Toddy. We'll see what we get here from Owendale. Let the price be your guide. He's 9-5 on the line. I'd imagine he's going to be a fraction of that now with Global Campaign being out. You see over here, you can change positions and where you want horses to run. I just like to go through and put him in order the way that I like him. I have him listed as my second pick in the Ohio Derby. My first pick is Long Range Toddy. He's 5-2 on the morning line for Steve Asmussen. John Court has the ride. For me, the big key for this horse is, look, yes, he was impeded in the Kentucky Derby. Say what you will, maybe he was going to make a run, maybe he wasn't. I don't think he was. I think it was an instance where he was going to go backwards. But the big piece for me is this right here. Sloppy sealed track, sloppy sealed track. I don't think there's any coincidence that those two races are pretty clearly the two worst from a speed figure standpoint since he has turned into the horse that we saw win the Rebel Stakes 2 starts back in one of the split divisions there. I think if you get back to this race, the Rebel, I think he's got a giant chance to win this race. He defeated a nice horse in Improbable. Improbable's probably not as good as I think some people have made him out to be. Still a nice horse, but he's not all that in a bag of chips. To me, I look at Long Range Toddy and say the difference and the key for me with this race is if Owendale's going to be coming from the back, Long Range Toddy is going to be able to sit just off the speeds and hopefully get the jump. And I'll just roll the dice and hope that that's enough to turn the tables at a price that's probably going to be somewhere in the 2x range or maybe even 2.5x of what you're going to get on a horse like Owendale because of the running lines, because of the recency. And you see these. I just think Long Range Toddy's a little bit dirtied up. You get back to this mid-90 race in the Rebel with his tactical ability. I think Long Range Toddy's live in here. Global Campaign, again, is expected to scratch from this race. Going for gold goes out here. This is a horse that's a maiden through 4 lifetime starts, career best fig of 72. The blinkers go on. They're going to stretch him out in distance. Not a heck of a lot for me to offer as far as real reason to consider this horse a contender. Local connections, but it's still one of those instances I think he's in way too tough. The 6 Bethlehem Road I think is probably, if you're looking for an alternative outside of the big 2, maybe it's Bethlehem Road because this is a horse that has done nothing wrong in 3 lifetime starts. He's gone right to the front in all 3 races. He set a fast pace here in this stakes race at Parks most recently. Went on, got the job done. My big concern with him, he changed leads very early on the far turn, and I want to know what happens when he gets thrown into the deep end and there are better horses that come and confront him. It's one thing to turn away a horse in Mount Travers or some of these other runners that are running at Parks. It's another thing to turn away a horse like Long Range Toddy. Okay, you put him away. Great. Now you got to deal with Owendale. Bethlehem Road. Again, if you're looking for a little bit of a larger price in this race, maybe he is the answer. For me, I picked him third. And Dare Day. Another one, local connections here, stretching out in distance from 5.5 to 8 furlongs. This one looks a little bit better on paper than the other horse we just spoke about, but it's still an instance he's going to need to overcome the pace situation because both of his wins gate to wire fashion. I assume he's going to be sent out of there once the gates break. And I think you just go out there and you try to hang around as long as you possibly can. I'm not sold about the distance. I'm also not sold about the class. He's 15-1. But again, if you're looking for just a wild card in here, why not the Ohio bred Dare Day? For me, I've made it pretty clear. Long Range Toddy is my selection in here. I picked him first over Owendale in second, and in third I have the 6-horse Bethlehem Road. If you're curious, if there's anything else that goes into these numbers over here on the right side, well, if you come up here, you can click on Wagering and Live Video. When the race goes on, you can pull up the live feed here for Thistledown. You can go through, you can make your wagers right here. Put everything together, whatever you want. My wagers right now, $2 to win on the 3. You click Bet Now. When you're logged into your DRF Bets account, goes right over there. It's a beautiful thing. If you don't like my analysis, you don't like the way that I look at the race, you click on News and Analysis. You get stories over here. Nicole Russo touching on the unfortunate situation with Global Campaign where he won't run. And then also talking about Owendale and Long Range Toddy. Over here to the right, you have selections from a number of different handicappers from the Daily Racing Form. And if you don't want anything, you just want your own analysis, your own opinions, you click on Only PPs, you get all this stuff. You can write in trip notes, you can write in race notes, whatever you want. It's all there. And if you're someone that likes to mark up the PPs with a pen, do it on paper. If you're not, you click on this, view print PPs over here, you see the PDF button, you click single race, and bang, it's going to pop up right here. It's something that you can print right off your computer. You get your PPs in just the fashion that you'd like them. One other thing, if you're curious about some numbers, some stats, click on statistics, show you jockey stats, trainer stats, closer looks, X, Y, and Z, you name it. You can find it all right here in the drop-down bar in the statistics box. Race number 9 at Thistledown on Saturday afternoon, the Grade 3 Ohio Derby, 9 furlongs on the main track at Thistledown just outside of Cleveland. I'm going to go with Long Range Toddy.